Today I'm going to be making some liquid soap, so I wanted to bring you along on this process. I'm trying something new, so I just want to see how it works. I have been using Lard lye soap, and it's all lye soap, but Lard soap in the bars, and I know I have really been trying to get away from that and use more just organic, but I had a lot of customers requesting, actually one business requested the Lard lye soap, and so I made it. So of course I tried it, and I fell in love with it. I'm loving the Lard soap. It's just really moisturizing. It's not stripping at all. It's just I'm just really liking it right now. Now my skin tends to adjust to one soap, and then I need to change to another. So I tend to go back and forth. I'll use probably the Lard soap for a couple months, and then I'll switch back over to the eczema dry skin soap, and then I'll switch back over to the pine tar. So I kind of do that. But today I wanted to try to make a Lard liquid soap. Now I got on Summer Bee Meadows advanced soap calculator, and I'll do a video on that later. But I wanted to I was like, okay, what do I really want to do? Well, Lard's not really cleansing as much as some other oils. It is more moisturizing, but I wanted it to have a lather because this is something I was going to try to use as like a body wash. So what I did is I decided that I'm going to use 16 ounces of Lard, but I'm also going to add 1 ounce of castor oil in it, and I'm also going to add 1 ounce of coconut butter in it for the for lather and bubbles. Okay, so I have my scale sitting here. I hope you can see it. I have it on like a little tray because it has little black like rubber feet on it. It was leaving little black marks all over my table, so I'm just going to put it on this little tray. I'm going to just measure it out. Since I'm not doing a big batch of this, I'm just going to measure it with the bowl on the scale. I'm going to tear the scale out so that it's on 0. I'm going to go ahead and add my 1 ounce. This is coconut oil. I'll add my 1 ounce of coconut oil. And I think I have it on grams. I do. Let's change it over. Okay, that's 0.9. So there's one ounce of that. I'm going to add 1 ounce of castor oil. And this is the castor oil that I have been using. And my little guy's coming. I hear his feet. I'm gonna go ahead and tear it out from 1 ounce to 0. I could have just went to 2, but I'm gonna tear it out. He's in there hollering. He's wide open this morning. He doesn't know I'm videoing. Usually he helps me out with being quiet. Kaylin. Mama's videoing, okay?
Mom.
Yes.
Mom, I
Don't.
my pool up.
Okay, go to the bathroom.
And don't.
Alright, go in there and watch Shimmer and Chime. I'll be back in there in a few minutes. Close the door for Mommy so I can't hear the TV on the video. Thank you. Alright, so there's my 1 ounce of castor oil. Now I'm going to see if I can find my lard. I had a I can't get it. Here it goes. Okay. I had a big container. I'm gonna zoom you out just a little, so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Let me zoom it out without. There we go. Okay, so I had I was getting to the end of my bucket, my big bucket of lard, so I just put it in one of these smaller buckets because I am using my big buckets to store some of the things that I bought, like the bulk citric acid and the bulk sodium hydroxide, which is lye for bar soap, and the potassium hydroxide, which is the lye for liquid soap. And baking soda, citric acid, I bought it, so I used my big 50-pound buckets for that. So I put this, well, this came in 25 pounds, but I put it in here. All right, I'm gonna tear that out. It's on 0. I need 16 ounces. I'm going to put it down here on the dry end so that if I have to dip something out, I can just dip it right back out. Okay, that's a little over. That's 1 pound, 1 ounce. I mean 1 pound, 0.1 ounce. Took out a little bit too much, and I'm just gonna leave that in. It's not a big deal. Okay. All right. So, I've got that. Now I'm gonna put this back into the crock pot, and I'm gonna put the lid on it and leave it on low, and let's get that heated up. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and measure out the lard that I need and the water. Now, I will tell you I am going to, since this is for me, I am going to use some kombucha tea. So I'm going to go ahead and tear this out and get this on here. Oh, tear it out now, I'm sorry. Put it on there, tear it out to 0. My recipe says that I need 11.05 ounces of water. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my SCOBY. I'm going to take one of these spoons that have never been used before, and I'm going to hold my SCOBY back and measure the kombucha. Okay? And again, let me check my measurements. Measurements are important. 11.05. Let me turn this around because it's kind of getting in my way. Okay. Okay. That's 11.4. So I really want 11 because it's not going to measure 0.05, which is 5/100ths. It's not going to measure it down to that. So it's 11.1. I'm just going to go with 11.1. That's perfect. Alright, so I'm going to set that back over there. And now I'm going to get my lye. Now I have this recipe I formulated with 2 different lies. Because if you use, I'm just going to cover this back up a little bit. If you use just the liquid lye, which is the potassium hydroxide flakes, the KOH flakes, it ends up a little too liquid. But if you add some of the sodium hydroxide, which is for bar soap, in with it, it gives you a thicker liquid soap. So I'm going to remove that. With a bowl. I'm going to start off with my potassium hydroxide flakes, because this one I'm using 90% of this and only 10% of the sodium hydroxide, which is for bar soap. So potassium hydroxide, I need 3.31 ounces. So I'm going to tear out the bowl. And I'm going to that's 2, 3.2, and I'm supposed to have 3.31. I'm supposed to have 3.31. I have 3.2. 3.3. Now I can't measure the 3.31. That's okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dump this in. Just get my little spatula here, silicone spatula, and just make sure. And I should have gloves on, so please, if you're not used to dealing with lye, you can hear the sizzle. So it actually has an immediate reaction and goes to sizzling, trying to, it's reacting with the water, and it will melt down. And okay, now I'm going to give this a stir. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my sodium hydroxide. While that sits, I'm going to put this back on, make sure it's back at 0. It is. Sodium hydroxide, which is the one that's actually for bars of soap. I'm only using 0.37 of this. Oop, and I went too far. So what I do is I just take this and dip up a little and carefully put it back in, which I try not to have to do this. Okay, here we go. It's out of the way. Go ahead and put this in. And when you pour these up, they will immediately start reacting to the moisture in the air. And I didn't do it, I thought about it after I had already dumped my first lye in the container. But if you take a dryer sheet, which I don't use dryer sheets, but I have dryer sheets left over from when I did use them. And if you wipe the inside of the bowl out, it won't stick to the bowl. It'll just come right out. Okay, now, like I said, be careful with this. You don't want it splashing. You definitely don't want it sitting where a child could get it. Kind of show you that, and that's the kombucha tea. Normally this would be clear, but that's the kombucha. And this does give off some fumes, so if you're really sensitive to that, have it over by the window. Normally, I do a lot more than this for the bar soaps, so I will put it over at the window. But this amount, I'm not even smelling any fumes. Some people wear face masks, gloves, goggles. And please be safe. Before I was actually pouring my lye straight into the water. That's not ideal to do. I've done this so much that I do it, but if you make a mistake, you can't fix it. Well, you can, but it's a lot of work. So I don't recommend. I recommend you put your sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide in a bowl before you put in the liquid. Just like today, I actually put in a little too much, so I would have had to adjust the recipe to figure it out. And so it really is a pain. Okay, I'm just looking down in there. Everything is gone. So this is ready. I'm going to go ahead and move the scale out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and get my stick blender ready, because I'm going to use the stick blender to blend this together. I keep a cord back here on the top of it so I don't have to constantly climb under the table to plug my stuff up. So that's ready. I'm going to go ahead and break this up a little so it'll go ahead and start melting more. I should have kind of pushed it down in there rather than leaving the little glob. Now, the reason I did this in such a big pot, and you can do this in a small pot, but the reason I use such a big pot is because I'm going to actually dilute this in the pot. I don't like having to take the paste, the finished product, which is called paste. I don't like having to take it out and put it in another container, and I've messed up another pot or another bowl, and usually a pot. So what I like to do is just do my liquid soap in this pot big enough to put the water in. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start it, because there's no hard oils in here. This is just lard, castor, and coconut oil. Coconut oil is already melted. The lard's the only thing that hasn't melted quite yet, and that's because I had the big lump on the end. This hot lye solution will melt it. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. I'm going to pull this toward me a little. And I'm going to go ahead and get my blender ready. Make sure you can see me. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay. And you want to be careful when you're pouring that you're pouring in a way that it doesn't splash. Now the only problem with using the big pot is that, and I'm going to immediately wash this out. Okay. Is that it will try to scatter when I'm trying to stick blend it, so I have to kind of pull it down on one end like this and then do it. Now this is changing the color of it because I have the kombucha tea in it, and like I said, I've never used the kombucha tea in my liquid soap before, but I'm trying it. And I'm just giving it a little burst so that it won't fly everywhere until all of that lard finishes melting. What is it, baby? Huh? And I'm going to stop while he's here because I don't want to risk it splashing up on him. Okay, there you go. Alright. Close the door back again for Mommy, okay? Thank you. And you can already see that it's changing the colors. Instead of being like a really, really amber looking color, it's getting a creamy color to it as more of the lard melts. Go back to it. And it is flashing a little. I think this little stick blender is about gone because the metal thing hits the bottom of the bowl, and I don't think it used to do that. Now I will tell you that when you're making liquid soap, it takes a lot longer to get it to trace than it does when you're making bar soaps. I can feel that it's starting to thicken up. Now it's not thick yet, but it's starting to thicken up. All right, now what I like to do is I like to give it a rest and just let it kind of sit. No, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit this down in here. Sit it like that. Okay, I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm going to bring you back in maybe 5 or 10 minutes and show you what it looks like then. Okay, it's been about probably 10 minutes. So I'm gonna bring you back. It's not thickening anymore, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and stick blend it some more. Be careful not to. Splash out, almost splashed out. And it acts like it's thickening up, but then when I left it sitting, it kind of separated. Now some people just stand and stick blend and heat their stick blender really, really hot, or they give it a little break. I just kind of don't mess with it as much. I try to go do other things rather than me just standing here the whole time. And it does feel like it's thickening something. Yes, it's definitely thickening now. Still not thick, but it's starting to thicken. I just kind of stir in. There'll be little places where you can see the oils or the kombucha teas kind of not mixing in as well. So stick blender's sounding a little funny, but I have another stick blender that I got at a yard sale on standby, so in case this one goes out, I have another one, a backup. Because the last thing you want to do is get caught making soap, especially liquid soap, and your stick blender go out. It's a lot of mixing by hand. Sounds like it is on its last leg. It's not real hot. Alright, I'm going to let it rest for a minute. And I usually just try to bump it off. Stick it in here, put the lid back on. I'm going to go finish a couple things and I'll bring you back probably in about 10 minutes. Okay, I'm back. It's been probably 10, maybe even 15 minutes. You can see that it's thickening up. It's kind of like a pudding now. It's probably got some runny stuff on the bottom though. But pull it all the way through. thicker now, which is what you want. And normally if I was doing bar soaps, see when it piles up on itself, I would go ahead and quit. But because this is liquid soap, you're supposed to get it as thick as possible. Something in here. I'm not sure if it's coming out of the stick blender or what, but I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. I know this stick blender is making really like metal, rubbing metal, but it looks fine on the bottom. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and retire it after today. I will save it just in case I'm in a bind and I have to have one and all my other ones are gone and I don't have an extra one, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and retire this after this batch. It's not sounding too good. Where's the iPad? It's on the coffee table.
I don't know what it is.
Go look on the coffee table. It's on the coffee table. Kind of changing. I'm not sure if you can see it, but around the edges it's turning more like a watery applesauce look. More like applesauce, I guess, but that's why I keep mixing it. I'm mixing it in because I want to get through that stage. My stick blender is starting to get really hot. Okay, what I think I'm going to do probably need to pull out my other stick blender. I really hate to mess up another one at this point. Alright, it's nice and thick. What I'm going to do is stir it around a little, make sure it's nice and mixed together. do is, in just like an instant almost, it will thicken to a paste that you can't even use a stick blender. It's thickening to the point now that you can't really even see it moving. Alright, so what I'm going to do at this stage, you can keep going, and I'm tempted to keep going. I really wanted you to see how it thickens up and what it looks like when it really, really thickens. It's blending, but it's almost like it's stop with it. Now, like I said, some people would continue on at this stage and just continue to blend. I prefer to wrap mine up, insulate it, let it kind of go through by itself so that I'm not having to constantly watch it. I want to get this cord out from under here. Not sure how that happened. Okay. Alright, so now what I will do now is, I'm going to set this over here out of the way. Can't be touched. I'm going to put the lid on there. I have it on low. I'm going to take, I have old towels that are clean, of course, but that nobody wants to use in the bathroom anymore. And what I do is, actually, I sit one on the bottom. Okay, straighten it out a little, sit it right in the middle. Towel's just folded in half. I take another old towel that I have, and I will, first let me scrape down the sides because I see some on the sides. I want to make sure I have all of that down in there. Give it one. Castor. And I really feel like I'm not ready to stop with it yet. I don't want to leave it sitting and then when I come home this afternoon, it's not ready. So what I'm going to do is go ahead with the stick blender, pull out the other stick blender, and let's see what we can come up with. I haven't ever used this one, but we're going to try it. Okay? So this one has a high and a low. I'm going to drain it down to one side, and I'm going to It looks like right now it's trying to go through the applesauce stage and it's trying to thicken up more, but this stick blender's working a lot better. Ooh, a lot better. Just have to keep my hand off the button because if you press that little button, it's going to be easy to sling it everywhere. It's really thickening up. Well, it kind of keeps thickening up and then it kind of goes back down. And I don't know if the kombucha has something to do with this. I'm really not sure. Just catching a little air. I'm going to let it go because I've never had a liquid soap take this long to really, I mean, come to a thick stage where you can't even stir it. And like I said, I've never done the kombucha before. I'm not sure if that's what is happening with it. So I'm just going to give it a quick little stir. Make sure everything is down in the pot. Hold it off nicely. I don't know how I'm keeping on getting my cords all wrapped up, but I'm going to stick this one down in the same one with the other one. I'm even going to stick that one down in there. Move this cord out of the way. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. What I'm going to do is, it's on low right now, but I will turn it off in just a few minutes. I'm going to put this up here. I take and I tuck that up, put that over it, pull this side up, tuck that bottom towel on top of the lid and push that down. Same thing on the side here. Tuck it. Don't tuck it under the lid, and just lay it on top of the lid and let the top towel hold it. Okay. And then what I do is I make sure I have a way right here to get my hand in the front of it to turn it off in a few minutes. Okay. I'm going to get a couple other towels and things, and these are diapers that I bought brand new. They haven't been used. I love them for cleaning furniture and glass because they don't leave that lint. So I use those. I bought a right good bit of them. I'll do that. Thought I had another towel in here, but I don't. So I'm going to take these two towels and drape them across this way. Okay, and then what I do is I push it all the way against the wall. Hope you can see that. And slide everything away from it. This is my work table, so it's usually has stuff on it that I'm working with. I get everything away from it. I'm going to leave it on low for about 5-10 minutes, and then I'm going to come in here and switch it off. I'm not going to turn the lid on. I'm not going to take the lid off, the towels off. I'm just going to reach my hand up in there, turn it off, and then I'll just kind of close that like this, and then just leave it like that until I get home this afternoon. So when I get home this afternoon and I'm ready to check it, I will bring you back. See you in a little while. Okay, I'm back. I haven't uncovered it yet. I did pull it out from the wall and then remembered that I didn't turn the camcorder on. So I'm just going to take these things off so I can kind of take a look at how it's doing. Oh yeah. It's still warm, so I know it's pretty much cooked all day. It's not hot, but that's warm in there, so that's good. I'm going to just kind of see if I can zoom you in so you can see what it looks like. It's a nice little paste. The only thing I will say is there's water underneath it. It's just really strange. And it's the color of the kombucha. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the crock back on low. And it's hard enough now that I wouldn't be able to use the stick blender with it. Sorry about the noise. But you can see that the bottom is really has a clear, like translucent look. It's not really Vaseline-y, like Vaseline, which is a term used with soaping when you're making soaps. But it's just kind of strange with the liquid. So I'm going to have to see how this works. Maybe this is the way it's supposed to do. And I have made dozens of liquid soaps and never had it do that way before. So I'm just going to blend it back in. I'm going to turn it on, and when it gets hot, I might be able to stick blend it. I don't know. We shall see. So I'm going to spread it back out. Oop. Make sure nothing's on the sides. Going to put that over there. I'm going to, I have it on low. I'm going to cover it just a little to get it warm quicker. And I'm going to bring you back whenever that warms up. Okay, I've been cooking it for quite some time, probably a couple hours. and it's still nice and soft, so it's not getting hard like normal paste. But after thinking about it, it's probably because of the lard. Lard's soft, and so that's probably why it's not getting it's not it's not turning into a nice hard paste. So I'm going to go ahead and check it, and I'm going to do that is I'm going to take, I'm going to get some hot water, and I'm going to add some paste to it. Get the water hot, nice and hot. Got my hand on it. I'm thinking it's done. And whenever you're making soaps like this, you want to make sure that you keep nice notes, so that if you decide that it's something you like, when you cook it again, you'll kind of know how it's going to behave, and you'll have to throw this away. It's had seen better days. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom you out a little bit. Right here, I'm going to take a little bit of paste, and I'm going to just put a little bit down into the water and stir it up. And we're going to see if we come up with a milky substance. If it's milky looking, then that means it's not ready. If it remains clear, then that means, or almost clear. It doesn't have to be clear as water, but if it has a clear tint to it, then that means it is ready. I'm thinking this is ready, because normally when you put it in, you will see the milky look immediately. I'm not seeing that. And it doesn't all have to dissolve. You just want to get some of it dissolved. Okay. So if I take something with writing on it, and I put it over it, if you can see through it, then it's ready. And it's not milky. I'm able to see through it, even though I'm not dissolving all of it. So therefore I know that it is ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just pour that in there. I'm going to take my scale, measure out the amount of water that I need for this batch. I'm going to use hot water. Let me see if I can find my sheet. And it says that I need 1 pound, 12.9 ounces. Okay, so what I do is I just pour it into another container. And I'm going to measure it. Remember, it says 1 pound, 12.9. So there's 1 pound. $12.9. 1 pound, 12.9. Now, I'm not going to put all of this water in to begin with. I'm only going to put part of it, and then I'm going to save the other part just to see if I need it. I don't want it to get too thin on me. I'm probably going to have it, but like I said, I'm just going to let this sit. I'm going to clean off this spoon. Get that back down in there. And at this point you could do two things since this is so soft. You can go ahead and stick blend it in, or you could just let it sit. I'm going to stick blend it in a little. Actually, I'm not, because it's not going to work. So, I'm going to put the lid on this and let it sit. Hit that. I'm glad it didn't go flying everywhere. I'm going to get that soap out of there. Sit that back in there. Make sure it's all down in there. I think I will go ahead and add the rest of this water because it looks like it's not going to be enough. So, what I'm going to do is put the lid back on this. I'm going to leave it on low for a minute. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it back up for the night. And as you can see, liquid soap, it takes longer to do, but a lot of times it ends up, rather than you having to sit there with it, you're just actually kind of babysitting it. You just let it do its little thing and you just wait on it. So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're just going to wrap it up. That way I don't have to bother it anymore tonight. And I will check it in the morning. And I don't have to wrap it this much, but I really want the heat to stay. I want the heat to stay in overnight, and I don't want to have to heat it back up tomorrow. So just kind of got plenty of these, and I'll put two toward the front. Okay, I'm going to slide it back toward the wall so that it's got that insulation from the wall, and I'm going to leave it on low probably for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to turn it off, and I will bring you back in the morning.